And to speak of today, get out the barbecue this evening, 54 degrees, so just, what can I say, and enjoy it.
Sounds
May
good.
not last forever.
That sounds good. Thanks, Brad, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Stay with us. We'll have more news and weather at 7:25.
This is 5 TV.
With the students of Corinth Elementary School in Prairie Village, Kansas.
We're awake.
Yes.
Good morning, gang, and good morning, everybody. I'm David Hartman.
And I'm Joan Lunden. It is Wednesday, February the 11th.
The rights of people to keep their private lives private. It's been a tradition in our country that a person's medical records are nobody else's business. But what about a disease like AIDS? Contagious? Incurable, fatal. Liberace's death brings this question into sharp focus. Should people with this disease be allowed to keep it a secret? In a few minutes, both sides of what is becoming a very tough medical and ethical question.
Also coming up, there is a big winner now in the big dog show here in New York. There he is right there. His name is Manhattan.
Hello.
We're going to meet Manhattan in this half hour. We will also hear what Sylvester Stallone has to say about his latest movie, which puts him in a new kind of combat. And then a little later this morning, we'll take you live to Hollywood for all the suspense and drama as this year's Oscar nominees are announced.
Manhattan, the German Shepherd, probably has 28 names, too. Jed Duvall, a minute after right now down in Washington with all the news. Hi, Jed. Morning.
Good morning, David. Joan. Good morning, everyone. We've just heard this morning from the Middle East. There appears to be a deal in the works that could result in the release of 4 Western hostages, including 3 Americans. Israel seems to be nearing an agreement for a swap involving a captured Israeli flyer and hundreds of Arab prisoners that could set the 4 free. Dean Reynolds has details.
Diplomatic sources said today Israel appears ready to make a deal calling for the release of some 400 Arab prisoners in exchange for a missing Israeli aviator. Sources say subtle signals have been sent between Israel and Lebanon this week that could be the basis for a breakthrough. The release of the prisoners would also meet the demand of kidnappers in Beirut who say they'll execute 3 Americans and an Indian they are holding unless the prisoners are set free. There are reports the kidnappers have submitted a list of names of those they want released. Prime Minister Shamir was asked what he would do with such a list.
We will examine it. We will see the meaning of it. We will think about it. We will consider it.
Israel insists the United States is not pressing it to negotiate. But in any case, the idea of releasing prisoners is not popular here. This morning, an Israeli who was wounded in a past terrorist attack expressed his outrage at the idea and petitioned the Supreme Court to block any release.
I cannot see the man who wounded me going now out from jail with a victory.
Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Tel Aviv.
In other news, President Reagan meets for the second time today with the Tower Commission investigating the National Security Council in the wake of the Iran-Contra affair. The president has refused to force former aides John Poindexter and Oliver North to testify before the commission. The White House, meanwhile, has turned over to the panel transcripts of some of President Reagan's notes on Iran arms sales. Congressional investigators reportedly believe that most of the money skimmed for the Contras in the Iran affair came from a loan made by Saudi Arabian tycoon Adnan Khashoggi. The Washington Post reports that only $2 million of the $10.5 million believed diverted for the Contras actually came from the Iranian payments. And new information is coming to light about former National Security Advisor Robert McFarlane's apparent attempt to take his life with drugs. Bill Greenwood has details.
Hospital officials won't say when the former presidential aide might be released, only that he's alert and in good condition. Friends believe McFarlane's testimony to Iran-Contra investigators was a major cause of stress, and his wife, Jonda, expressed thanks for the support and sympathy. It was a transcript of her call for an ambulance that provided a description of McFarlane's condition after taking what sources said were 20 to 30 tranquilizers. He doesn't seem to be able to quite become conscious. He is sort of semi-lucid. He can mumble, but he can't quite get it.
We responded at 7:05 to Linden Lane, picked up the patient, took the patient to the hospital.
Sources say when this ambulance and its 2-man crew arrived, McFarlane was fully dressed but woozy. and that his wife was clutching a note, presumably from her husband. Congressmen expect McFarland to testify again when he's recovered, but friends worry about the stress.
Oh, I would very much hope that now with this unfortunate incident that others of his colleagues would now come forward and tell their story.
McFarland has been the only key player in the Iran scandal to testify without restrictions or reservations. And while congressmen say his hospitalization may delay their probe, it won't derail it. Bill Greenwood, ABC News, Washington.
Also this morning, the surrogate mother in the Baby M child custody case in New Jersey has been described as emotionally unstable by a psychiatrist hired by the natural father. Lee Salk, relying on written reports, says Mary Beth Whitehead has a severe personality disorder, but he admits he's never met her. 7 whites arrested last month during an attack on civil rights marchers are being arraigned today in Forsyth County, Georgia. The 7 were indicted yesterday by a grand jury. Just to the south, Atlanta officials are celebrating the naming of their city as the site of the 1988 Democratic National Convention. The Democrats chose Atlanta, saying the South is crucial to their chances in '88. Houston came in second. And Eastern Airlines has decided to pay a record fine rather than fight it out in court. Stephen Ogg has details in this morning's economic report.
Good morning. Eastern Airlines is paying the biggest fine in the history of aviation, $9.5 million to settle nearly 80,000 alleged violations of airline safety rules. The Federal Aviation Administration had made the allegations last year. Most of the violations were record-keeping failures. But in a business like aviation, keeping the proper records, especially those involving maintenance, is a crucial factor in safety. Eastern's new management, Texas Air Corporation, says it's paying the fine to remove a cloud over Eastern's safety record. Meanwhile, federal and state telephone regulators are meeting in Washington over the next few days to discuss the future of that $2 a month extra charge, the so-called long-distance access charge everybody pays. Some FCC officials want to raise that to $3 a line this June and $4 a line in June of next year, but state regulators say they're not convinced it's doing what it's supposed to do, namely discourage big business firms from bypassing the local phone company entirely and connecting their communication systems directly to the long-distance company. Finally, Textron, the big aerospace technology and financial services firm, is going to sell its Gorham division. Gorham's best known for the fine sterling silver tableware they've been making the past 156 years. Apparently, Gorham no longer fits in Textron's type of business. Still, owning Gorham could be a sterling opportunity for somebody with enough cash to fork over. It's the economy this morning.
Thanks, Steve. Checking the foreign currency markets. The dollar down against the Japanese yen. In Europe, the dollar unchanged against both the mark and the franc. And it's up against the pound. In London, the morning gold fixing down 10 cents an ounce from yesterday's close. In New York, a look ahead now at some of the events on the calendar. The World Health Organization is starting a 2-day meeting today in Geneva. The subject, AIDS. Academy Awards nominations are to be announced this morning in Hollywood. Platoon and Woody Allen's Hannah and Her Sisters are expected to win the most nominations. The National Hockey League's All-Stars take on the Soviet national team tonight in the first of 2 games in Quebec. And this evening on World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, a report on how you keep dogs from barking. That's the news at 7. Coming up at 7:30, the jury in the Twilight Zone trial goes to the scene of the incident. Joan and Spencer?
Thank you, Jed. And of course, we're going to be doing the Oscar nominations live later in the show today.
Yes.
This is the first time for all the networks to carry that. Right now, it's 8 minutes after, and the weather with Spencer Christian. Are things looking up a little bit?
Oh, a lot. This is a day when weather persons will have high popularity ratings. Because the weather's, you can't say anything bad about the weatherman today. Yeah, the weatherman's a great guy, you know, or the weather person, depending on what gender your weather person is. The position of the jet stream is rather quiet and subtle today. The little flow of moisture coming off the Pacific will spell some shower activity out west, but it's basically a quiet day for most of the nation. Pleasant, warm weather here in the central part of the country. Still cold up in the northeast, although things are a little quiet right now. We do see signs that the jet stream is going to become more active in the days ahead, and we may get back into a stormier weather pattern like we had back in January. Now, the outlook calls for mainly dry conditions, partly to mostly sunny skies, especially here in the east and central parts of the country. Some morning fog over the northern plains, that'll burn off. Remaining cold in the northeast, a little cooler than normal in the southeast, but still a pleasant day. Showers developing along coastal areas of California and Oregon. That's the way the national weather picture shapes up, and here's what's happening in your hometown area.
Good morning, everyone. This is Brad Edwards from the 5 TV Forecast Center, and it's really going to feel like spring today. Expect partly cloudy skies and very little wind with a high of 55 degrees.
More on today's weather coming up in the next half hour. David?
Thanks, Spencer. 9 minutes after 7 right now, when a California coroner announced this week that Liberace died of a disease caused by AIDS, many of his fans and friends protested. They said that his right to privacy had been violated. That right has become a major issue in several aspects of the fight against the AIDS epidemic. Congressman Henry Waxman represents the district that includes Hollywood. He's the chairman of the House Subcommittee on Health. He's with us this morning from Washington. Dr. Lawrence White is chairman of the Board of Trustees of the California Medical Association. He's treated many AIDS victims, and he joins us this morning from KGO TV in San Francisco. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Doctor, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Doctor, what possible good or use can come of revealing that Liberace died of AIDS?
I think the main good that can come from it, as against the invasion of his privacy, is the realization that people that a lot of people admire have this disease, that it is not solely in the purview of a bunch of perverts or despicable people, that lovely people, marvelous people, valuable people have it. And this is something people need to know. We need to start fighting this disease with education. And if we lie about it, that's not the way to do it.
On the other hand, if a patient, as a physician, if a patient or the family of a patient, either with a patient living or dead, says to you as a physician, please don't reveal this is private. We want to keep this private. To what extent can you, would you, do you honor that request?
I think you honor the request right up till the last. The problem is that once the death certificate is filled out, that becomes a matter of public record. I think also, to some extent, a public figure like Mr. Liberace gives up some of the privacy. I know he does in law. I think probably he does in medicine. And to pretend to the American people that this man died of watermelon intoxication, I think does them a disservice. I think he should have done what Rock Hudson did, been honest about it and said, here's what I've got. There's nothing to forgive. Please understand me. Let's try together to do something about this terrible disease.
Congressman Waxman, to what extent do you agree or disagree with the doctor?
Well, I agree completely with the doctor. It was very sad that Liberace in his final days felt that he had to hide his illness from the public and try to figure out ways to keep this quiet when he could have taken the role that Rock Hudson had taken and been a great benefit to educating the public. I think death certificates, as a matter of public record, have to be accurate, but the confidentiality issue, while it's a troubling one with Liberace, particularly with the repugnant way this whole issue was handled, with the coroner running to the press and holding a press conference, is a more important issue for those people who are living when we ask them to participate in a public health measure to go in and get a blood test, contact people they've had sexual relations with so that those people can get a blood test and change their practices so as not to transmit the disease. Now, under those circumstances, we have to respect confidentiality or they won't participate. So from a public health point of view, we want to protect the confidentiality of living people so they won't be stigmatized, lose their jobs, lose their families, lose everything, in order to have them do what is morally required of them. After a person's dead, it's unfortunately a different circumstance.
Doctor, to what extent do you agree with Mr. Waxman that regarding testing? How much testing do you believe we should have, blood testing, and if we, to the extent we have testing, to what extent should those results be made public?
I don't think those results should ever be made public, but I think they should be made available to the physicians who are treating the patient. I can't, as a physician, if I send a patient who I know is antibody positive to another doctor, I can't tell the other doctor about it in California. It's against the law. I think that law needs to be changed. The governor's vetoed the change twice. I can't realistically tell the public health authorities about it unless they've actually got AIDS. I can tell them if they've got the disease AIDS. I can't tell them if they're antibody positive. This totally blocks our ability to follow cases, to do case finding, to do education of those sexual contacts of this individual who are in fact at risk. And I think that's what needs to be changed. I think to test everyone in the Army is silly.
Congressman, you're a lawyer. What's your reaction to the California law in this regard and to the Dr. White's deep concerns about his inability and other doctors' inability to go ahead and practice medicine and educate to try to prevent worse problems down the road?
Well, I think they're entitled to have the information necessary to do their job as physicians. And from a public health point of view, we need to get whatever information that will be helpful in stopping the spread of this disease available to those people who can do something with it. But what we need to do is to make sure that we don't have it in a position where it can be used to hurt the individuals and keep them from participating fully in what they must participate in trying to stop the spread of the disease. See, the Justice Department of the United States said that you can go ahead and discriminate against people who have a positive blood test for AIDS. The public health people, on the other hand, have said, we think that people who are at risk for having AIDS should come in and get a test. Well, who's going to come in and get a test if they think that they're going to lose their jobs and their insurance and have all sorts of discrimination imposed against them? They're not going to participate. So from a public health point of view, we need confidentiality for that, to that extent. The California law, if it's unreasonable and impedes public health progress and the doctor-patient relationship, should be changed in order to accomplish those results.
Doctor, how satisfied are you that at the national level, on down, filtering down through the community and the medical profession and all of us, that the most is being done to try to prevent the spread of this disease?
I think the Reagan administration is doing a dreadful job. They've even blocked money for education that's already been sent to the CDC in Atlanta because they think talking about how you get AIDS is dirty. Congressman Waxman has been absolutely marvelous with this, probably more important than anyone else in Washington in trying to make these funds available for education and for research. This is a disease that is going to succumb only to education about its spread and prevention by safe sex practices and from research in the production of a vaccine or treatment for the disease. The Reagan administration is opposing both.
Dr. White, thank you for being with us this morning from San Francisco. Congressman Waxman, welcome back. Good to have you with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
And it's 16 after. We'll be back. Roger Karras, and there's a new top dog after this.
The Wall Street opened today with heavy interest in several of its major blue-chip issues, the tender filet. This prompted a surge of orders for the delicately seasoned steak de Burgo, as well as the tempting Wall Street special, the beef Wellington. The market reached near hysteria over the Wall Street's lobster tails, but that interest was capped by last-minute orders of the Wall Street's closing quotations. Amaretto cheesecake with strawberry sauce. Come to the Wall Street, your broker of fine foods.
Thousands of Walmart associates working together because low prices are important to you.
We seek out the manufacturers who can deliver the quality we demand. Then our large volume buying enables you to save on the things you want.
We control every step. We deliver to stores at least 5 times each week.
That means fresher merchandise and lower prices every day.
We stock what you want to buy, and because it moves fast, we can sell it at a lower price.
Here's what it all comes down to. You save on everything in the cart, not just 1 or 2 items.
You will save on everything you buy at Walmart.
We're a team. Everybody in this store does his part to keep costs down. And that means lower prices for you.
Walmart. We're thousands of individuals working together to keep prices lower on the things you want. Our philosophy is very simple.
What's important is you.
That's the Walmart way.
When the cold wind blows and it starts to snow, a tough new Ford is the way to go. They're fun to drive, and they work hard, too, plus there's great Ford deals just for you.
Now get 3.9% financing plus up to $600 cash back on Ford Tempos, Escorts, and Mustangs. Buy this Escort and get automatic transmission plus AM/FM stereo free, or save $700 on Ford's car for the 80s and beyond. Ford Taurus.
Because your Ford dealer knows that it's time to show that you're the boss, not the snow.
Hurry, 3.9% ends soon. See your local Ford dealer today.
Right now it is 18 minutes after. Later on this morning we will find out who will be running in the running to take home an Oscar as the contest to become Hollywood's top banana begins. But the tension is over now. Who would become top dog at the annual Westminster Dog Show? It ended late last night. The judges chose Manhattan, otherwise known as Hatter, as best of show. He is a German Shepherd and managed to edge out over 2,000 other dogs representing about 139 different breeds. And Hatter is with us this morning along with ABC News pets and wildlife correspondent correspondent Roger Karras, and good morning.
Good morning. What a night.
He is a gorgeous, gorgeous animal. Look at that.
That's as good as they get.
It really is.
As good as a dog can be. That's Champion, Covey, Tucker, Hills, Manhattan. And
that's the full name.
That's the full name, and they're just none better.
And this is the first time a German Shepherd, I mean, that's the 111th show, right? And this is the first time a German Shepherd has won.
Absolutely amazing. It's, as you say, it's the 111th consecutive show, which makes it the second oldest sporting event in America. We're only beaten by the Kentucky Derby by 1 year. And the German Shepherd's been very popular since World War I.
That's what I was going to say, because this is a long, long time favorite breed.
Yeah, it's amazing, but it's it.
And so what did he have to do to kind of prove that he was the best of show? First of all, I guess in his breed, and then overall.
Well, last night was his 199th best in show.
Whew. So he's a long-time winner.
So he has proved everything. I mean, he's as good as a dog can be. He walked into the garden on Monday morning and faced 2,674 other dogs and said to them all, get out of the way.
Okay, a little interesting side story. He got lost.
Yeah,
lost.
Last weekend, would you believe, the greatest dog in the world, an airline misrouted him, and for something like 6 hours, I guess, they didn't know where he was. I assume Jim Moses, his handler, and his owners went absolutely insane, and they did locate him, but he was in a crate for 26 hours without food and water. And this is the heart of this dog. He got out of the crate and showed for 2 days as if nothing had happened.
As if nothing had happened. Yeah. And an incredible disposition besides being a gorgeous dog. He really has an unbelievable disposition, right?
Absolutely perfect. Flawless.
And he comes from, I assume, a long line of champion. Yeah. Why is this show such an important show? I mean, this really is it.
Well, the Westminster Kennel Club show, you want to lie down. He went to a party last night.
That's right. He had a big night.
Jim will come out here a little bit and show him off. He went to a party last night, and he ate things that people gave him. And he's probably operating on a couple of hours sleep as a result.
What is the life of a champion dog normally like? I mean, do they have a lot different food than our regular dog around the house? Or?
They're very rigidly controlled. They have a diet, and they don't deviate from it very much, usually, except when you win Westminster. You did ask about Westminster. I got to tell you, that's the premier. That's the America's Cup of the dog world. And a dog capable of winning that show is a dog that's on a very carefully controlled diet.
You bet.
Grooming is perfect and flawless and constant.
If you're wondering who Hatter is looking at here, he's looking at his owner, Jim Moses. Come on out. And you can, I guess it's called stacking the dog, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's see how you do this.
Hatter.
Look at this.
Watch this.
He looks like he's almost smiling. You know how dogs look when they're kind of smiling? So it seems like they enjoy.
You watch them.
Okay.
Now he's happy. He's never really happy unless Jim's inside.
He's got a little bit of food in his hand. You can tell he's a little.
You notice that I don't touch any of his legs. I just let him walk into it. That shows that he's structurally anatomically correct. Stay there.
Whoa.
Okay, that's good.
Listen, he did a lot last night. Congratulations to you both.
Very much.
Roger, thank you. We'll be back.
Behold the beer belly, the old spare tire, the Labanza. 50 million Americans need a shortcut to get from fat to flat. And here it is. It's called the Gut Buster. It's the ultimate fitness machine, specifically designed to firm and flatten the stomach as nothing else can. Just watch this easy exerciser turn ordinary sit-ups into fat-burning, tummy-tightening power stretches.